So this is St George's Church, 1427 to 1505 it was built. It's the centre of the old town and is regarded as one of the largest and most beautiful late Gothic hall churches in southern Germany. The Daniel is the tower of the church, and you can enjoy fascinating views over the town and the Ries crater. Every evening between 10 p.m. and midnight, every half hour, the watchman's cry can be heard from the Daniel. All's well, fellows, all's well. So Gelso. So we're at the side of the town hall, which you can be seen here, just sort of to the north of the church. There's a big plan of the town hall here as well. So the rat house, the town hall, it's 13th century stone house and has been used without interruption since 1382 by the parliament of the town, thus being one of the oldest towns in Germany. And there's a big flight of stairs which we're going to show you just round the corner here. Some modern art there. There's a great plan of the town here. You can actually see where we are here, and we're going to follow this route. So when you see this flight of stairs, it's like an external flight of stairs. It's just fabulous. So this is called the Lay House. It's from 1522. It was originally built as the chancellery. But it was also used as a trading hall during fairs, and it contains the tourist information now, which are fairly helpful, and then there's the town library beside it. So this large Tanz house dates from the 15th century too, and it was used as a trading hall during the Whitsun fairs for cloth traders, and other times used as a dance hall. You can actually see the plan of the town there just below it. So this area, very, very historic on a sleepy Sunday afternoon. So the Christmas markets are going to be opening soon. They're really only opening from Advent up until Christmas, so do check them out when you're here. You can see all the stalls are nearly ready to go. So this is the Hafen market, and as you can see, this square is surrounded with what can really be described as very historical gables. Bit of work going on here at the moment, but you can see you get the general gist, the high-pitched roofs, the wonderful shutters, and these rather unusual benches which you can relax in and enjoy the lovely cool weather, frost on them. So we're taking a dander on round the town, and we're leaving the Hafen market, heading north towards the walls. And I was in here the other night at a Midsummer Night's Dream, which was unusual to say the least, because it's not often you get music, a musical version of Shakespeare. So let's take a look at this. This is the Cloister. It was once a Franciscan monastery church, and it was used after the Reformation as a granary. and it's now a hotel and sort of theatre events complex, and it's quite an unusual setting. You can see the inside of it in a photograph, which I'll insert here. So we're going to head through past the fountains, which are all switched off for the winter, and we'll have a look around, and you can see, looking back at the Hafen market there, Steve Marsh stood here. It's quite hard to find. It's in the centre of the old town, but we're going to walk down here into the tannery district. Gerberviertel. There's loads of numerous tannery houses here. I can only take it that is for taking bicycles up and down. A lot of electric bikes around here. So a lot of back alleys to explore. So you can see from the size of the houses in this district that all the craftsmen were at one time the most prosperous and well-to-do in the old town of Nördlingen in Bavaria. So it's a case of history repeating itself here. So this large spittle with its church is a geriatric care centre, and its warehouses were built in the 13th century, and they were originally used as a municipal home for the care of the sick, the old and the poor. Now the Stat Museum is here. Some of these museums are seasonal and they're closed in winter. They sort of only open from Easter through to Halloween. And there's a lot in here because the Rees Crater Museum is in here. Now it's open all year round, and it's in a beautiful setting too. And you can see the river flows through the town between the water towers here. Look at that there. You can see there's the church there. And the Rees Crater Museum is here. It's like a barn conversion too, but very well done. In here they have the Geopark Centre, and there's lovely free toilets that are always open in there as well. So it's like a courtyard of 3 museums. So I think we'll stick to the way along here to the new watermill, past the original stream. There's actually a sort of house up here which I'm sure is on Airbnb or one of the rental systems, but it's delightful. Even in the winter it's delightful along here. It's quite fast flowing. Some of the doors are very decorative as well. Here's that one I was talking about. It's called the Golden Stern, a holiday house. Here's one here in much need of restoration. That's looking back at the town museum. So we'll take a dander across the river now. And that's the new water mill with a bottom driven wheel there. Can't really see it, but it is there. So around the other side you can quite clearly see the water race, and the Rotary Club, it looks like they're going to restore the water wheel. Somebody now lives in the mill, and you can see this is number 32 on the list, which we'll put in later on. And the weak point in the story of the town were the water towers, which I don't really understand why you would put a weak point at the water towers. Surely that's where you want to put your strong point. And you can see people up there enjoying a Sunday afternoon stroll around the walls. And you can canoe that quite easily. So you can see we're coming into the actual inside ring of the walls, and you can see how massive they are. This is actually number 12, the Spitzturm. So if you look here, you can get an idea of the scale of the place and the wall as we look from the Spitzturm towards the Baldinger Tower. You can see there's actually dwellings still in existence in the actual walls itself. And there's just so many historic things that it would take you a lifetime to go through them. This is obviously the home of the ski and snowboarding club of Nördlingen. There you go. You can see here the walls had in parts covered roofs on it to protect the people sort of patrolling the walls. And when you walk along the walls, when you look, you can sort of see the chimes in the actual walls. It's not a sort of steady rounded wall. It sort of chimes at key points. And if you look in the background here, you can actually see the legendary Lopsinger Tower from 1593-94, which protected access, which led out to Nuremberg and further afield to Leipzig. Now you can quite clearly see this is looking from the inside of the town out the way, and we're heading on round towards the gate that we're going to stop at that leads out to the canal. We'll show you what it's like there at the gate itself. So as you can see, we're set up for Christmas here, and this is the Baldinger Tower, and it leads towards Swabia and Franconia, otherwise known as McDonald's and Jisk. Thought you might like that one. Now you can see it's possible to walk all the way around the walls. We'll show you a bit of them, I think. Now, after the town siege in 1634, the gate was seriously damaged, causing its collapse in 1703. That's maybe why it isn't as impressive as other towers and gateways into the town. So there's a lot of towers along here. After the Baldinger Tower, you have the back oven turm. These are oven-like shaped defensive towers from the 16th century, which we'll walk past. There's a few of them, 4 of them, and they take us round to the Lowen Tarm or Pulven Tarm. It's a very solid land tower or powder tower, which dates from 1533 to 35, and it has a characteristic defensive roof protecting the other side of the wall. Just walk along the canal stroke river here, and you can see that it acts like a bit of a moat. I would imagine at one time they probably did fill it with water between the sort of walkway I'm on and the walls itself. So it's a very picturesque place to walk and visit, especially in autumnal time of the years. And there's great cycle paths all around the Geo Park here, and you can go for miles and miles and miles in circular routes too that bring you back here. Now we're going to take a trip up under the walls now, and you can see the sort of shape of these oven-like defensive structures. Quite impressive. Obviously, the citizens of the town would have felt quite safe inside the walls. Well, as we know, that wasn't the case, but they probably would have, because from up the Daniel Tower you could see for miles and miles and miles. Now once we get round the walls here, we're going to go back inside the town and continue through the sort of juxtaposition of the houses that take us down through the historic side of the town. I'm going to come across where there used to be a synagogue, believe it or not, with double towers. So we're going to head back down into the town here very, very, very shortly. And we're just coming up on another one of the many towers round Nördlingen here in the Ries in Bayern in Bavaria. It's a good mile round the walls. It's a couple of kilometres, so it takes you an hour or so to meander around them, up and down the steps. Several hundred steps, would say, if you added them all up. And it's doable in the winter too. It's coming up late November, just before the Christmas markets start here in Nördlingen. And it's threatening to snow. The temperature's hanging in around 0 at the minute. Hasn't managed to snow, but it's pretty cold. You can hear it in my voice as I walk round and show you the sights of the fantastic town of Nördlingen. So this is the field tour we're coming up to. That's the one with the conical tower, and it was actually used as a prison back in the day. The old bastion, the massive bastion, protected this weaker side of the town. It now stands as a romantic open-air theatre, is on around the corner from this. So we'll wander through the older parts of the town here. I think the gasworks were down here originally. I think many of these houses have been extensively modernised, but many of them appear empty also. It's a juxtaposition of all the dwellings gets me. And wherever you go in the town, Daniel's Tower can often be caught a glimpse of. You always have to look up. If you look up here, you can actually see pulleys and wheels for various different things up there. Look, this is actually the back of the modern fire station. You can see the old drinking slipway here, the water through the town so the animals could get fed. So the twin towers of the Nördlingen synagogue were here. You can see the pictures. Just beside Daniel's Tower. So here's a chemist's shop, which apparently has been plying its trade since 1440. It was renewed in 1670 and then in 1931. Impressive, if 100% true. And you can see the pulley at the top for bringing in winter supplies. So you'll find lots of other interesting and unusual things in Nördlingen, including this one. Gert Müller was actually born in Nördlingen on November the 3rd, 1945, and passed away after a long illness in Wolfratshausen on August the 15th, 2021. He started his football career at the age of 12 with TSV 1861 Nördlingen, and in 1964 he moved to Bayern Munich, for whom he scored a record number of 365 Bundesliga goals for the German national football team. He was successful in 62 games with 68 goals, no less. At the 1974 World Cup, he scored the winning goal to make it 2-1 against the Netherlands. Due to his remarkable strike rate and incomparable playing style, he was known as the bomber of the nation. So in the distance there, that's the Berger Tower that goes out towards It was completed in 1362. It was reinforced in 1552 by the gate at the front of it, and in 1574 75 a firing balustrade was added as well. So look at the gates of this church. So this is Salvatore Keka. It was built from 1401 onwards, which isn't yesterday, which is 624 years ago. Look at the size of those doors. It was originally a Carmelite order church consecrated in 1422, and it's simply now the Catholic parish church. So the Rijmenicher Tower is the oldest of Nördlingen's 5 gates, parts of which date from the 14th century. It leads out to Augsburg and the romantic road towards the Alps over into Italy. A couple of great cafes and a lovely butcher down that way as well.